Some women believe they've got killer credentials. An unhappy wife sets a besotted teen a lethal task.
If she truly loved him, she would never ask him to do such a horrible thing.
God's given me.
A showgirl's marriage is a flop, but with murder, she's a smash.
She saw it as something that she did for survival.
And a property developer
Nice place.
has big plans for her new husband.
Glad you could come. That was like the cherry on the sundae. That's what brought her over the edge.
These deadly women believe they could get away with murder. They intend to outsmart the cops with their killer intellect.
There are people that like to be in the back of the room and not observed, and that wasn't Pam.
She really wanted to be the center of attention.
Florida college student Pam Wohas knows what she likes, and in 1987, 22-year-old Greg Smart has all the right moves.
So she was kind of that 80s chick obsessed with the heavy metal music of the day.
Greg had long, curly hair, looked like he could have been in a metal band, and Pam really liked that.
So what kind of bands do you listen to?
Van Halen? Motley Crue?
They're my favorite.
With confidence, looks, and ambition.
How come I've never seen you around before?
I'm studying broadcast journalism in Florida.
19-year-old Pam is an alluring catch for Greg.
She was smart, she was pretty, she was outgoing from all reports. She had things going for her.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the next Barbara Walters.
Is she a headbanger?
This one is.
Pam did very well in college.
Oh my god, I love this song. Yeah.
She wanted to be a broadcast anchor, and she was on her way for that to happen.
And into the next phase of their life.
Pam got a job as a media representative with the school district, and Greg started working in insurance. They bought a condo. Life was going well.
So what do you think?
But only one of them wants to grow up.
I liked the Wild One better.
The Wild One couldn't make much money selling insurance.
Greg was no longer the happy-go-lucky partying college kid, and he was conforming. He had cut his hair, was starting to wear suits to work.
When I'm on TV, we'll have plenty of money.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know that she wanted the house, the dog, suburbia. She wanted attention.
While she's not yet a TV star, Pam finds some glory working at a high school.
Look who it is.
Pam had a job as the director of media services, which gave her access to the high school students.
They loved her.
Hi, Billy.
Someone told me you met Van Halen.
I did.
She was great at her job.
Seriously? Did you meet them?
I did. And it was really exciting. Actually, he was wearing an ugly bracelet, a little bit like that one. See you, boys.
Bye.
It's clear to me Pam was getting a lot more reinforcement from the teenagers she was hanging around than she was her husband.
It's not just attention at school she loves. Pam starts inviting students home when her husband's away.
It's just sex.
She's like the wild party aunt, you know, but just hotter.
Cecilia, we're going to take hanging face now, please. Of course.
But hanging out is never going to be enough.
I'll be back.
Pam sets her sights on seducing 15-year-old Billy Flynn.
You look at him, and he's a younger version of Greg. He's got the long hair, he's into the heavy metal music. And this must just blow his mind.
Come on, your turn.
He's all in.
She loved being the center of attention. In fact, she had to be the center of attention wherever she went.
Now that Pam's getting all the attention she needs at school, husband Greg is redundant.
I don't know what you want from me.
Greg's biggest mistake was cutting his hair, getting a job, working hard, being successful.
I want a divorce.
The speed of life for her isn't fast anymore. She's status quo. She's one more wife of a husband in a neighborhood where everybody does the same thing, and this wasn't enough for her. She needed more.
Yeah, well, I'm not moving out.
Greg Smart became
I paid for all this.
an obstacle in her life.
Well, it's half mine.
Pam wants out,
Yeah. We'll see.
but she's not ready to give up on the good life.
I can't believe you. I'm taking the dog.
Like hell you are!
She's got a better idea. In New Hampshire, Pam Smart has a plan to be free of her husband and live the good life.
You guys have one shot. Do not mess this up.
Billy Flynn, Vance J.R. Lattamy, Pete Randall, and Raymond Fowler are at murder school.
I need you to wait for Greg to get home.
Head of the class is her 15-year-old lover, Billy.
Billy was pushed further into believing if I didn't do this, I would lose Pam.
Take whatever you want. I need this to look like a botched burglary.
Now I get why you're wearing all your rings.
Yeah, you're not getting your hands on these.
They were 15. She was 8 years older, and her experience in life taught her how to manipulate them.
Where's the gun?
The boys got the gun from JR's father. JR stole it, or borrowed it, so to speak, for the night.
Good. Okay, I gotta go. Don't mess this up.
These kids were pawns in her little game of death.
On the evening of May 1st, 1990, Pam's ambush is in play. While two teens hide in a getaway car, Pete Randall and Billy Flynn wait for the victim. Pleading with the teenagers, Greg is unaware who's behind the attack.
They start saying, "Give me your jewelry."
Give me your wallet and your wedding ring. Not my ring, my wife will kill me.
He said, I can't. My wife would kill me.
Faced with the reality of taking a man's life, the teens falter. Billy tries to steel himself for love.
Pam said to Billy, if you love me, you would do this for me. Unfortunately, Billy wasn't mature enough or experienced enough to know that if she truly loved him, she would never ask him to do such a horrible thing.
No, please, no. Please,
In the prime of his life,
please, no, please,
24-year-old Greg Smart is executed.
please.
God forgive me.
On the order of his wife.
Pam's motive was to cancel out the life she didn't want and move on into the life she wanted. Instead of divorcing the guy, she wanted to wipe that slate clean.
According to Pam, getting away with murder is easy.
I think think Pam thought by the fact that she didn't get her hands dirty, there's no way she could be convicted of this crime.
Help me! Anybody! Please! My husband!
But Pam Smart wasn't very smart.
For an aspiring TV anchor, Pam's performance for the police lacks credibility.
Okay, so I came through the front door, and then the first thing I saw was the speakers off their stand, which is weird, and it seems like a botched burglary. You know?
One of the first things Pam said to them was not that her husband was dead on the floor, but stuff was gone.
Oh, and then I saw Craig.
That aroused suspicion.
But by using her teenage killers, Pam can prove that she was nowhere near the apartment that night. She soon discovers using teenage killers also has a downside.
When you're dealing with teenagers and murder, it's comical to think that people are going to be quiet.
Vance's father overhears the boys discussing his gun, the murder weapon.
To Vance Latamy's father's credit, he went and got the gun, took it to the local police station, said, I think my gun's, was used in this crime, and they did a ballistic test, and it was.
But not all of her students are under her spell.
I know who killed Greg Smart. Pam did.
Cecilia Pierce knows every detail of the murder plot and agrees to entrap Pam.
Seeing what's happened, wouldn't you rather have just divorced Greg?
I don't know,
She actually threatened her,
but you better not say anything.
saying, who do you think the police are going to believe? A respected professional like me or a bunch of 15-year-olds?
Aren't you worried about getting caught?
No. Who are they going to believe? Me or some teenager in the slammer?
The confession is all the police need.
I go.
Pam was book smart, but when it came to people smarts, she sat at the back of the class.
Pam is so confident, she has no idea she's even a suspect.
They end up in her office, and law enforcement comes in, and Pam says,
What's up?
you have something? And they say, yeah, we have some good news and some bad news.
The good news is we've solved your husband's murder.
The bad news is you're under arrest. You're coming with us.
In 1991, Raymond Fowler is convicted of murder conspiracy, and Vance J.R. Latamy as accomplice to second-degree murder. Both are sentenced to 30 years in prison, released on parole in 2005. Pete Randall and Billy Flynn are sentenced to 40 years for second-degree murder, both released in 2015.
You could say that these boys wouldn't have killed anybody in their lives if they hadn't met Pam Smart, and that may be true, we'll never know.
Pam Smart is convicted of witness tampering and conspiracy and accomplice to first-degree murder. She is sentenced to life without parole. The fame Pam craved is finally hers, but not the way she planned.
In the end, Pam Smart got her wish, because she is all over broadcast news.
Pam was a child, a teenager who married an adult. It's a good thing she's in prison. We're fascinated with attractive or wealthy people that commit murder. You have everything. You have good looks. You have money. And that's when the...
In 1918, Chicago is the place to be. And Belva Gardner is used to being center stage.
Belva put the roar in Roaring 20s. She became a cabaret singer, had a bigger-than-life personality.
Do you enjoy the attention that she received both on stage and off stage? Yeah, we lost it.
But a 34-year-old showgirl can't tread the boards forever. So Belva turns those talents to securing her future.
I do miss it.
You're one of the wealthiest women in the city.
Oh, I'm bored. Bored.
Belva accomplished the impossible. She got a wealthy, respected older man to marry her.
Darling. Our guests are waiting.
Not just any wealthy man. 54-year-old William Gartner is the catch of Chicago's high society.
William had everything necessary to attract a high society partner, but he wasn't interested in that. He liked the flappers.
It'll be fun. Always friends just love me.
He was a very eligible bachelor, and it was really quite scandalous. He marries a cabaret dancer, which would very much be like a person of industry now taking up with a stripper.
When two worlds collide, there's bound to be fireworks.
Belva was not Chicago society. Absolutely positively not. At the time in Chicago, society women moved in these clubs and these circles. She didn't seem to fit any of those molds.
Champagne?
Actually, could I have an old-fashioned?
Now she's the center of attention for all the wrong reasons. Instead of being adored, she finds herself scorned.
So, when does the show begin?
There's a show?
Why else are we here?
And Belva doesn't stay where she's not the star.
Get me out of here.
Married life was a little too boring for Belva. She missed the cabarets, she missed the attention.
After dark, Belva slips away to the world she knows best.
By sneaking out, she felt that she was part of this cabaret scene where she fit the society scene, where she wasn't admired, and she was an outsider.
Soon she's out every night until the early hours, while William leads the office life of 9 to 5.
Belva! You can't keep doing this! You've been drinking again, haven't you?
Get up and have some fun with me for a change.
Disrupted sleep is soon the least of William's marriage problems.
Do you like it? Do you like me?
We do see her start taking an interest in men younger than herself, and certainly decades younger than her older husband.
She wanted a young stud in her bed.
William may be smitten, but he's not stupid.
He had private detectives following her.
William, I wasn't expecting you to join us.
You'll be hearing from my lawyers.
She didn't see marriage as something that she did for love. She saw it as something that she did for survival.
A divorce might mean losing her lifeline, but at least the scandal puts her back in the spotlight.
Make sure you get my good side.
With the settlement, Belva splurges on a brand new car. It comes with an added extra. 29-year-old car salesman, Walter Law.
I'll take it.
You won't regret it, Mrs. Gardner.
Miss, I'm divorced. Didn't you hear?
I heard.
When Belva met Walter, she was looking at herself. He was just like her.
Why don't you bring the paperwork upstairs? We'll celebrate.
They wanted to go to speakeasies, they wanted to drink gin, they wanted to dance, and they wanted to have a good time. He was married, he had a child, but they were stepping out together in secret.
Yeah. Belva, yeah.
With a young stud in her bed, Belva has exactly what she craves: complete adoration.
Walter was 10 years younger than Belva. Perhaps Belva chose him because she knew she could control him. Threats are the beginning of the end.
Chicago in early 1924. Former showgirl Belva Gardner and her boy toy, Walter Law, tear up the town.
I need to go home.
Rubbish. The night's young.
As the relationship progressed between Belva and Walter, it stopped being so fun. He was no longer interested in being with Belva.
But Walter soon discovers that decision is not his to make.
You're not going anywhere. Don't make me angry, love.
She behaved more and more badly, not only being mildly abusive, but when Walter tried to leave Belva, she threatened him with a knife. Things were getting out of control.
I really should get home. To Frida.
What? Don't be ridiculous.
Walter believes he's living on borrowed time.
Walter was so convinced his life was in danger from Belva, he took out more life insurance. That's a bad sign.
Belva, I can't. I'm done. Okay?
On March 12th, 1924, Walter says goodbye.
He's brought her back to her apartment. His plan was to just walk away at that point.
But he succumbs to Belva's control one final time.
Okay, but wait. I have something for you.
She went inside, collected her gun, and shot him directly in the face.
Belva flees back to her apartment, but leaves a trail of evidence, including her own car, the dead body behind the wheel. In no time, the police are at her door.
Her blood-soaked clothes were on the floor, and her watch had been shattered at the exact time that the murder occurred, 1:15 a.m.
Are these your
Lady, I tried to pull him out of the driver's seat.
Belva has a ridiculous defense. From the get-go, she was very irritated by their suggestion that she was part of it. Really irritated, almost as if they should just go clean up this mess for her and not bother her.
And, how did the gun go off?
Oh, I can't remember. I tell you, mixing gin and guns can get you in a dickens of a mess.
And this is a man who is dead, and she's describing it as a dickens of a mess.
The evidence against Belva is overwhelming. But in the Roaring 20s, Chicago is known for glamorous women getting away with murder.
Chicago was fascinated with female killers. It wasn't unusual for these women to walk out of court, especially the pretty ones.
In 1924, Belva Gardner's murder trial is the best show in town.
Belva was many things, but above all else, she was an entertainer.
This time, the audience she woos is the all-male jury. It's a simple performance. She tells them she can't remember what happened.
She knew exactly how to manipulate the jury.
Belva, how's it
you'll be free.
Over here. Come on, give us a good one.
I'm just so happy.
Not only is she acquitted, she walks straight back into a life of luxury with her ex-husband, William.
And she's going to essentially get the vacation she deserves after this long ordeal.
Belva Gardner has an itch for fame, and 15 minutes won't scratch it.
This woman was a master manipulator, and manipulating people and trying to have control was how she made it through life.
She razzles and dazzles her way out of prison and into the realm of eternal stardom.
Belva inspired the character Velma Kelly in the musical Chicago. And it's really sad, in a way, that this musical and this legend is celebrated.
Belva got away with every bad behavior she ever exhibited, and in the end, she got away with murder. Some women marry for money.
Nice place.
And that's enough. But for other women, it's never enough.
Kansas City, Kansas, 1998. 46-year-old Ed Patton is a high flyer in the real estate world.
Man, do I need this? Was that the most boring conference or what?
Ed came from a very prominent family. He really liked the identity that he had established as being kind of this playboy.
At 48, Tyler Block is a newcomer to the industry. Keen to make her mark with 3 failed marriages behind her, romance is not in Tyler's business plan.
I don't want to be here. I've got too much work to do.
She used her motivation, she used her good looks, she used her charisma.
Ed can open doors.
Really? I thought he was just a party boy.
No, he's more than that. You know, he's a trust funder.
He's also the sole heir to his family's fortune. Suddenly, Ed has Tyler's full attention.
Glad you could come. Tyler.
Nice place.
Well, let me give you the tour.
Ed was a self-described trust funder. Although she had done fairly well for herself, she wanted more, and he could provide it.
Both, had been on this lifelong search for love.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh.
So, Sarah tells me you've got a few ideas.
Yeah, I've got some really big plans.
Well, love to hear them.
I don't know, maybe we could, have a lunch someday.
Sure.
And when they had met each other, that was it. They both felt as if, we had finally found our soulmates.
A whirlwind romance leads to marriage. They join forces in business, buying and flipping homes.
In the early part of the marriage, Tyler seemed pretty happy. But the honeymoon doesn't last. They were married for less than a year when things really started to go downhill.
You gotta look at this one.
We're not having this conversation.
Look at her.
You can't afford another property right now.
Tyler was claiming that Ed had not...
What about your trust fund?
Mom's in charge of that.
Turns out, Ed's mother holds the purse strings to his trust fund.
You are so pathetic! Mom's in charge of that! Thought you were loaded.
It's not that loaded.
She wanted Ed to provide her with a luxury lifestyle and blamed him for not giving her what she wanted. Tyler suffered from terminal entitlement syndrome. She wanted him, but not as much as she wanted his wallet.
This was not your average marital spat. This was vicious, vicious fighting.
The fight is so vicious, Ed records it.
Record me. I don't care.
And adds it to growing file he's keeping on Tyler.
Out of all my husbands, you are the most pathetic. You are a big loser, a mommy's boy.
Tyler knew Ed was recording one of her rants, and she continued ranting. In fact, it got worse.
Please, just work this out.
Can we please just work it out?
Once she got going, she was kind of out of control.
I really wanted to work, but not bad.
By January 2001, the marriage is hanging by a thread.
She just goes crazy. Helen, I was...
Shut it. Get out. Now.
Tyler basically said that he should ask his mother for more money.
Did you call your mother?
I can't.
Fine.
It's the final straw.
I'm leaving.
Helen, please.
Tyler did not want to have anything else to do with Ed.
Tyler moved in to one of their rental properties.
Hi, it's Tyler from the realtors.
He told her, pick whatever you want. And oh, did she.
I need a removalist. ASAP.
She got a moving company and took all of the furniture except for the master bedroom furniture and furniture from Ed's office.
Things change for people when they enter middle age. Life takes on a different perspective. Kind of a do or die. I don't have a lot of time left.
It's coming.
Tyler Block Patton has walked out on her husband, Ed, after just a year of marriage. But 2 weeks later, distance seems to make her heart grow fonder.
Hi, just seeing how you're feeling. Hope you're okay. Yeah. Love you.
Tyler left several voicemail messages on the phone.
Hey, sweetie, just seeing how you're feeling. I hope you're okay. I love you.
Hoping that Ed was doing well, and there were 9 of these messages left.
But Ed never hears her messages, because 2 days earlier, on January 14th, 2001, Tyler visits him for the last time.
Tyler came over to the house where Ed was sleeping alone, quietly crept through the door, 2x4 in hand. And she proceeded to administer a repeated and very, very vengeful beating.
He was hit 6 to 12 times in the head area.
This was a murder that was done with a lot of anger, a lot of malice.
She may have been angry with him, but at that moment, the murder, she was dispatching him.
Tyler stages the crime scene as a robbery gone wrong. And 2 days later, returns as the devoted and concerned wife.
Hello. I think there's an intruder in my house. And I think my husband's in there too.
Tyler went by the marital house and walked inside and said that she heard an intruder of some sort. So she left the residence, called the police, and had them check the residence.
Pam, did you call about an intruder?
Yes.
Okay, let's go check it out.
Police find the house in disarray.
That was one of the things that really sent up a red flag, because it did, in fact, look very staged.
Nothing valuable was taken. There were items that were on the floor that would have broken if they'd been knocked off of the counters.
They find no forced entry and no sign of an intruder.
But they did find the body of Ed Patton in the master bedroom. He had been bludgeoned beyond recognition.
But the state of the body shows the murder didn't happen tonight, and the killer has been careless.
Police did find the murder weapon, a 2-foot-long piece of 2x4 lumber outside the residence.
Tyler plays the grieving widow.
Oh, beautiful Ed. Oh!
Very distraught. She was very theatrical. She knew how to put on a good show.
She's eager to help police with the investigation.
Detectives?
It's like she had an ego about herself. There's no way they'll ever name me as a suspect. Look at me, I'm this little blonde bombshell. I don't fit the profile of a murderer.
You told us that you and Ed had a loving relationship.
He was the love of my life.
But the loving messages Tyler leaves on Ed's voicemail aren't the only recordings the police find in the home.
You are so pathetic. I'll charge you that. Record me. I don't care.
A microcassette tape was found in Ed's house containing an argument that Ed had recorded about 2 weeks earlier.
Out of all my husbands, you are the biggest loser. You are such a pathetic mommy's boy.
Things weren't as rosy as Tyler had portrayed them.
Doesn't sound very loving.
It wasn't serious.
That totally knocked her out of the box.
And investigators discover damning forensic evidence.
Even if the police had not found the Tyler tapes, Ed's DNA, of course, was on one end of the murder weapon.
Seen these?
Your DNA.
Well, that doesn't prove anything.
And Tyler's skin DNA was on the other.
I probably touched it. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Stand up with your hand behind your back.
Okay, but this is not right.
That was really the piece of evidence, that DNA evidence, that sealed her fate.
In 2002, Tyler Block Patton is convicted of first-degree murder. She is sentenced to life with no possibility of parole for 25 years.
She felt that she had been wronged in life. And then when Ed didn't have as much money as he may have told her, that was like the cherry on the sundae. That's what brought her over the edge.
Tyler Patton spent her life looking for love and luxury. A gold digger too blinded by greed to see she'd already hit the jackpot.
There's no question in my mind that this murder was premeditated. And of course, when the police found out the truth, she had nowhere to go except prison.
These deadly women took control, even when it came to killing. Pamela Smart's treachery was revealed by the students she corrupted. Belva Garten kept a younger man by killing him. And Tyler Block Patton decided her husband wasn't rich enough to stay alive. All three women thought they were too clever to be caught. But overconfidence was the fatal flaw in their killer intellect.